Hi everybody, Editing Rose here. I just wanted to let you all know that I filmed the walkthrough of this deck in one full video. It was about 2 hours long, so I've broken it up. So if you found one of these and it's the middle video and you want to see the rest, they are up on my channel. Take a look. I have a full walkthrough of the Herbcrafter's Tarot in one video also. It will be linked above. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the videos. Okay, moving on to the element of air, and this is the suit of swords, the mind, intellect. I see this card pretty often, actually. It shows up quite a lot in my readings. I like that there's kind of a, I don't know, the sky is cloudy because it does show that the mind and air can get a little bit bogged down sometimes by, I don't know, just life in general and stuff. And the barbed wire, which I think you also have the thorns too. It's not just humans that are setting the barrier, but it's the plant as well. And then you have a little itty bitty baby hummingbird, and it's just nice that you have the element and the animal that would be flying. I don't know, I don't have too much about this. The Two of Air, I love this card. I actually just noticed that there are 2 butterflies in this card. I think this is gorgeous. This is one that I talked about pretty in depth when doing my first walkthrough, so I'm not going to reiterate, I don't think, what I said there. But I love this card. I love chicory. And it doesn't feel like a threatening, indecisive card to me. In this imagery, it feels like I'm taking a pause in order to assess everything in the detail that it deserves before making a decision. The Three of Air, this is one of my favorite depictions of the Three of Swords because you don't have the heart being stabbed. I can no longer buy Rider-Waite-Smith clones or cards or decks that are based in Rider-Waite-Smith system just because I hate the Three of Swords. I think that it's so unoriginal. I just am so frustrated by them that if I like a deck, I will go and find the Three of Swords and make sure that it's not three swords stabbing a heart, just because it's not a heartbreak card for me. It's not how I read the deck, and I just don't want that imagery in what I'm reading. So I really love having this. It feels very freeing, and it's that upwards growth. It's growth of the mind, and you have the sky really taking over the image. In addition to the plant, you really don't have a lot of ground, which could also represent that you're not as grounded as you should be, but I think it's fine. The Four of Air is lavender, and I love that it's lavender. I mentioned this, I think, in the other one, that lavender feels like a very airy herb to me, and having it be the Four of Air is a really great choice, in my opinion, because it is one of those ones where when I see it sometimes, because it's lavender, I take it as the deck telling me to calm down. And I think that I will accept being told to calm down only by my tarot decks. So when this one tells me to, then I really know that I've got to chill out. But it's also one of those ones where it's reassuring and it says, be calm because everything's okay. You're not in any danger. This isn't fight or flight. This is rest and relax for a little bit. And you have this tiny little bee, and I absolutely love it. I always picture these as crocs. I know that they're not, but that's what I always see when I look at this card, like just quickly glance. The Five of Air is white sage. Every 5 in this deck, I think, is like an endangered plant, or it's like misused or something. I don't really remember. I have to read the book. I have the book with me every once in a while, and I'll flip through it, but I haven't read it in a while. I don't have much to say about this. I love this card, you really don't get a ton of deep red in this deck. So when you have it and it's kind of a prominent thing, it really sticks out to me. But I don't have much to say about this one. I love that. The Six of Air, I absolutely love this card. I love that you have the writing here because for me, when I see this card come up in readings and stuff, it's telling me to journal. It's reminding me to write my thoughts out and that the best way to clear your head is to empty your head. And by emptying your head, I mean writing everything out, getting your thoughts out on paper helps, at least for me, it helps to get those thoughts out. It feels like they're no longer bouncing around in my brain and they're just sitting on my page. And then I can look at them a little bit more objectively and worry less about them. The Seven of Air. I think I talked a lot about this in my last walkthrough. I love this card. It's one of experimentation and learning and research for me. And the sevens are about overcoming doubt in my mind. So it's fun that the kind of science-y card is the Seven of Air because it's forming that hypothesis and then expelling any doubt you had about it by following through and taking it to the physical and really going through with the experiment to test if it was correct or not. The Eight of Air, this is another one that's one of my favorites. I journey into this card pretty often, and I just think it's beautiful. I love that it feels free to me. It doesn't feel sad or being trapped or broken down. It feels, I don't know, it feels open. And it feels like I came upon this and was exploring and found this ruin, and now I'm wandering through and imagining myself being here and using your imagination to think up what it might have looked like before. The Nine of Air, this is the card that I did the path working on my channel about. For this card, I had some strong feelings about it just because of its tie to Persephone in my mind. And because I no longer work with Persephone, I felt weird about the card. And then doing the path working, I feel like I've now reclaimed it. So I'm glad that it happened. I'm glad that I now have a new look and memory to associate this card with. The Ten of Air, I love this card. I actually got this card in my month ahead reading. I like that we have I think it's a scythe up at top because it's showing that sometimes you have to be ruthless and just cut things down when it becomes too much. The Iha, which is the Child of Air, is the Page of Swords, Page of Air, and I love this card. I actually haven't gotten this card very often recently. I've more gotten the Iha of Earth just because that's kind of the situation in life I'm in right now, but I love this card. The cat sleeping is just, it melts my heart. I think it's so stinking cute, and I love it. I like that you see that this is a child's hand as well. The Adelita, which is the Warrior of Air, which is the Knight of Swords of Air. I love this card. This is the card that the deck chose to give to me when I asked, how do you see me? And I think this is very fitting, especially for my energy for the past year or so. It makes sense why this card would be the one. So every time I see it in a reading, I kind of view it as a little extra special message for myself, and one that's like, hey, pay attention. Maybe this is the energy that you need to counter a little bit because you're acting a little bit too impulsively and doing too much and too quickly. So take a little breather. The Madre of Air, I love this card too. I talked about this before. I think I've talked about this in a couple of readings as well. I just love how it's cutting away what needs to be cut in order to find that clarity and have that clarity. And the mothers are the queens, and I feel them kind of nurturing the element. And sometimes you have to nurture a little bit tough. And that's sometimes what I see the Madre of Air doing and being. The last card is technically the King, and it's the Curandera of Air, which is the kind of healer. So the healer of the element. I actually really like this system of child, warrior, mother, healer instead of page, knight, king, queen, just because I've started to drift away from the patriarchal hierarchy of the king being higher than the queen. I just don't like that. So I like that it's changed from that kind of system to like kind of a novice type thing, and then the warrior being the person who is an advocate and has that strong moral sense and goes after what they believe in, and then the madre is the mother being that nurturing energy and bringing that into the element and what you need, and then the healer is scooping up all of the suit in their arms and saying, I've got you, you're safe, I will take care of you. And then also being that wise elder energy to look to for guidance. So I really like the changes in it. I also like the diversity in the hands, because although it's like a small thing, it is nice to see. I also like that we get diversity in age as well, and also in like body art, because there are rings in some. I love seeing the tattoos because I feel like you don't really see that very often in tarot cards or tarot decks.